Garcia from Garcia Law Firm in Tijuana, and today we're going to talk about divorces in Tijuana. First of all, I would like to mention that I'm going to try to be as most clear, but in this time, this is for you to have a general idea of how divorces are in Tijuana, because it is a very wide field and it's really complicated for me to explain each and every one of the cases that could possibly be on our table. So yeah, in this time I'm gonna just try to answer frequent questions that my clients are asking me when they call us. So yeah, let's start by saying that we have two kind of different processes to start. One is the voluntary divorce and the other one is the necessary divorce. Voluntary divorce is when the couple is okay on getting divorced and they already spoke about the whole situation, and we as an attorneys, we are going to translate that agreement into a document that we are going to call a proper agreement, legal agreement, and also a legal petition to the judge for the divorce to be taken. So let's pretend we already have these two documents created, and now what we're going to do is include, if they have any children, all the birth certificates of the children, if they have properties, documents from the properties, or we're going to mention the properties, and any other assets that it's involved in the matter. And we're going to submit these documents at the family courthouse, and then the judge is going to read it and he's going to set a date and time to ratify these documents at the courthouse. Once the couple is doing that, the judge is going to set a sentence declaring the marriage nullified and then saying that the couple is already divorced. That is the most fastest and economic way to get divorced. Now, on the other hand, we have the necessary divorce. The necessary divorce is very wide, so it's really difficult to specify what's going to happen or how the process is going to be followed, because a lot of things are included in the necessary divorce. Also something called feelings, so it's massively difficult to let you know how a process is going to be taken. But let's say in general, let's just say that we have a client who wants to get divorced, and the client says, okay, attorney, I'm going to get divorced, but this other party, she doesn't want to get divorced. Legally speaking, nobody is obligated to be with anybody against their will. That's a fact. So based on that, we're going to get this client and we're going to follow all the process, and we're going to submit a petition of divorce at the family courthouse. Family courthouse is gonna receive the documents, and then the judge is gonna review all our petitions, and he's gonna request, if everything is okay, to the clerk to go and file a defendant. The defendant is gonna have some days to respond, and actually, if we have, if our clients have any children, he's going to call the children to be interviewed with the help of a psychologist. After that, he's going to set a date and time in order to the couple to appear at court, and then to see if they are willing to resolve all their issues in front of the judge. If that happens, then that means that the process is over, basically. If we don't have an arrangement, then the whole process must continue. Uh, Eventually, a process, regular process, is going to last between months or maybe a year and a half, and well, uh, it could continue for years, because there are some cases that they are fighting for a lot of things, and well, it's again, it's depending on the case we are looking for. Now, sometimes people call me and they are foreigners, or they say, attorney, I want to get divorced, but my ex-wife, ex-husband is living on a different state in Mexico, or on any a different city in Mexico. In this kind of cases, the proper way to, or according to law, we need to file our petition, as well as the other petition the other example I already mentioned. But in this specific case, we need to request the judge to create this exhortation in order to request a petition to this other courthouse at this city from in which this other person is living, to go and notify our defendant, file the defendant basically, and in order to attend this case. So yeah, the judge is going to create this exhortation and he's going to send it, and the judge is going to order the clerk to file the defendant, and the defendant is going to have some time to respond to our complaint, and the process will have to continue in Tijuana. This is very important. So I don't want to go yonder, because as I already explained, the process is going to be basically the same. We have also another situation, like I mentioned before, that when our client is from a different country, let's just say America, which are our neighbors, and Americans sometimes ask me, hey, I got married in Tijuana, I have a child in Tijuana, and I want to get divorced, but my wife doesn't want to get divorced. Can I get divorced? And the answer is yes. It will be even more easy if our client has an address and he is living in Tijuana. All he has to do is, like any other citizen, to go with his attorney, create a lawsuit explaining the whole situation, and this foreigner is going to have the same very rights as any other Mexican. That's important for you to know. Now, there are some other situations when a couple, let's just say one of them is, let's just say the guy is cheating on his wife, and then his wife discovers the situation. In some kinds, the wife says, you know what, attorney, I discovered my husband is cheating on me, so I don't want him to see the child, since he is the one to blame. So I want you to file this complaint, and with a special petition, so he's not being able to see the child, and even a restriction order, so he cannot be around our house. And the answer for this petition is no, it doesn't work that way, and the reason for that is because the judge is gonna say, okay, yes, you're right, this guy may be cheating on you, but it doesn't mean that the kid has not the right to see his dad. And one of the main things the judge is going to protect is the rights of the child and the interest superior of the child. So yeah, he is obligated to look after the child. So continuing on my explanation, there are some other cases when the couple is at this courthouse and they are about to create an arrangement, and they are fighting and they are arguing, but they say, okay, you know what? Let's solve the child visitations. Since the week has 7 days, 3.5 days for you, 3.5 days for me. And that's not the proper way to do things. The judge is gonna say, no, my friends, that cannot be done. And the reason for that is because, like I already explained, the child has some rights. One of those rights is he needs to feel that he has a house, that he belongs to some place, that he has a family. So the child has to be feeling that he lives on a family. And yes, maybe he's gonna have the right to see his dad also, to have some quality time with his dad, but it's gonna be 1-2 days or so. And the judge is gonna request the couple to rethink and make a proposal. If they don't do that, the judge is gonna say 1 or 2 days for child visitation. This is a very important thing you need to know. Another thing you need to know also is that the child support, when the judge sets this child support, the judge is setting, yes, it's mandatory, but it doesn't mean that because the child support is not getting paid, sorry. If you are not paying child support, it doesn't mean that you are forbidden to see the child. Remember, the child is not a merchandise. The child is a human being. So as a human being, he has some rights, and he has the right to see his dad or mom. So the judge is going to protect that right from the child. He's going to protect the child, sorry. And it doesn't mean also that because you're paying child support, you have, or the other party is obligated to let you see the child every time you wish. That is the reason why you have some days for child visitation. This is a very important thing to remember, because sometimes people get confused about this matter. So yeah, be careful on that and be aware of all these elements and all these situations. Now, like I mentioned before, one thing is child custody. Another thing is the parental authority. Child custody is the person who has the child under his care. Parental authority is the right that has the father over the kid, over the child, and also all the obligations that comes with it. Now, sometimes the parents are fighting over the child custody, and they are asking me, hey, how can I have the child custody? And the answer is, usually the courthouse is going to provide the custody to the mother. Why? Because the maternal link between the mother and the kid, and it's something like natural. And if you want to take that away from the mother, you will have to argue a very big reason for doing that. One could be like, for example, maybe the mother is suffering for any mental health, or she is ill, very severe illness, and she cannot take care of the kid. Or maybe she doesn't have a job and she doesn't have the money to provide all these benefits to the kid. And well, you get the idea. Now, if you want, sometimes another thing that many people is looking for is to have the parental authority for themselves, and taking away the parental authority of the other party. And this is not an easy task, let me tell you that. Not an easy task at all. Why? Because you will have to argue, again, like I said, something very strong. Let's just say the other party is using drugs, or they are having too many or heavy influence with the alcohol, or in some cases people has argued some prostitution or something like that. You get the idea. It is a very delicate situation. It is not easy to do, and if you want to follow that path, you have to be certain about what you're going to argue. And also you need to be aware that these kind of cases, they're going to cost you some time and money, because it's not an easy case, so it's not cheap. Now, this is in general what all the most asked questions from my clients. I didn't want it to go that deep because it's a lot of there is a lot of information, and it's really complicated to explain. And trust me, it's gonna depend on the persons, on the situations, and a lot of elements to try to explain the whole thing. But I hope this video finds you well. I know that there are a lot of questions that you keep in mind, but yeah, let's hope that this video finds you well. And if you have any comments or questions in specific, please let me know. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.